Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I am coming to you from Milan. Oh my God, I'm in a whole new location, which I am super pumped and excited about because I love nothing more than exploring new parts of the globe that I haven't yet been to. And that is where I am right now. So beautiful Milan. I arrived today, pretty much been traveling all day long, coming from, oh my God, the gorgeous Venice, my favorite place in the world right now. But yeah, just spent 5 days there and just loved every minute of it. Oh my gosh, I just can't get enough of that place. And then today just caught a train into Verona, back into Verona, which I just had the one night at the other day. And that's funny because if you guys watch my Facebook Live, and I was supposed to be there for 5 days. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so, and then another train over to Milan today, and just been doing a little bit of exploring around the beautiful cathedrals and doing so much walking. I was just actually laughing today about how much walking I've been getting into over this last month. Like, it's crazy. I haven't stopped. So today's message is a funny one. I got a few stories to tell you about my day today, and it kind of brought up this particular message, which is to be kind and be cautious. And I had a few funny instances happen today where super kind, and then kind of realized I also should be a little bit cautious. And so I'm going to dive into a couple of those stories that happened to myself a couple of times and also happened to my beautiful little mum. So anyway, I'm going to dive into those stories, and I want to bring this message to you guys about the importance of, being kind, but also being cautious. And let's start off with some stories. So the very first story kind of happened this morning when I was waiting for my next train to come. So I was at Verona station, and I was actually on the phone at the time, and I was just kind of walking around, and nobody ever can see that I'm on the phone because I use those little earpods, and I don't know why, but people always start talking to me, and then I'm just like, hey, I'm on the phone here. But anyway, this woman came up to me, and she showed me this piece of paper, and I was like, oh, I'm just on the phone, but hang on a sec, and spoke to her, and she was pointing at this piece of paper, and she was asking me if I knew where this thing was. Now I kind of realized that I look like probably one of the biggest tourists out there, and I'll get to some other stories which will be funny in a minute. But anyway, I'm just like, I don't know why she's asking me. There's other people who probably work here that could probably help her, and obviously I look like a tourist. I don't really consider myself Italian. I don't think people look at me and think, oh, she's a local, where I am. But anyway, she was an African woman, came up to me trying to get me to understand where this word was on the paper in Italian, and I just said, look, I have no idea. I usually try and help people, but usually I can get Google Maps out or something and just help people. But this was just I had no idea what the hell it was. Anyway, so I said to her, maybe you could go to the information, and she didn't really understand what I was talking about. So I was guiding her toward the signs. I was like, the I for information, follow the ticket signs and ask there, they'll be able to help you. And she just kind of was a bit blasé, and so I was like, why isn't she understanding what I'm saying? I don't know. And then she was like, oh, you show me. And then I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll just show her, the signs are showing her, but I'm like, okay, I'll walk her around there. And so I walked her the whole length of this train station to get her to the information center. And then there was kind of a bit of a queue, so I just said, this is it, stand in this line and somebody is going to help you, but I can't, I don't have the answers here. And she was kind of annoyed at me, and I was like, okay, I felt bad. I'm just like, I don't have the answers, how could I know? Anyway, so I got her to what I thought to be the right place, and then anyway, I then left her there and I just said, look, sorry, that's the best I can do. And I kept walking, and then just like a few meters ahead, there was a woman who worked in the station and she was available. So I literally 10 seconds after leaving this woman, I saw this other woman. So I thought, oh, I can help her a bit more. So I turned around to go find her, and she disappeared. Like, she didn't stay in that line. Anyway, so I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to drop it. I didn't help her, feel a bit bad, whatever, end of story. Kept talking on the phone. And then literally 10 minutes later, I'm at a different point in the station, and I'm just standing there having a chat on the phone, and she comes up to me with another African man and then starts kind of asking me the same questions, and it was a little bit weird and sus, and I was just like they're kind of cornering me into this little secluded spot in the station. And I was like, I don't know, remember? I don't actually know. And then I think they realized I was on the phone, and then they just kind of took off. And I don't know what was going on exactly. It just felt a bit sus, right? So the next story happens when we get to the next station. So we get to Milan, and we're like, oh my gosh, my mum, my dad and I look like the biggest tourists out there. I've got this massive suitcase. I'm blonde. My mum's got this bright red backpack. She looks like the biggest tourist ever. And then my dad, I don't know, he's just with us, so he looks like a big tourist. Anyway, so we're rushing around, and it's obvious we have no idea where we're going, and we're just looking at the signs, and we're getting our phones out, and we're doing all this stuff and trying to make it around. And mum kind of gets kind of left behind a little bit, and I turn around, and then these two 8-foot tall African guys have come up to my mum and kind of cornered her, and then they're asking her where the taxi is. And like I said, she looks like the biggest, she looks more like a tourist than I do, so it's just why would people ask her directions to different things when obviously she's a tourist? She obviously doesn't know where she is, And anyway, this Italian guy came straight up to them and her, he said to my mum, don't talk to them. They're, in his kind of broken English, kind of speaking a bit of Italian, he's like, they're criminals. They're crimo, and so my mum was like, oh, because she was being all trying to be kind, just like I was trying to be kind. And then, and then this Italian guy kind of was a bit more cluey, they just shot off. And then, there was a police officer, and he went and alerted the police officer about these guys and all sorts of stuff. And then the third story, oh my gosh, I'm going off on the stories today, but see this thing on my wrist? Okay, so we get to Milan, we're going off, we're just cruising around the streets, we're, going into, just walking around, just kind of getting to know the area that we're in. And, there's always those, kind of guys who are, trying to sell something, or, they usually around Italy, what we've found is they're trying to give away bracelets, but nothing's ever really for free, And this guy started talking to me, and I knew he was one of those guys, but he started, he was starting to say some different things, and then it's hard sometimes. Sometimes you just find yourself no, it's okay, but as soon as you engage in them, even if you're saying no, but you're saying it in a kind way, they kind of latch onto you. He grabbed my hand, not aggressively, but just very kindly. He was just being very nice, and then, kind of asking me if I had a boyfriend and things like that. And then I was like, this is getting a bit weird now, right? But he's got it down pat, right? He puts this bracelet on me, says how kind I am, and I said, no, thank you, but no. And he just kind of put it on me and tied it really tight, and then cut the things. He was just a whiz at it, right? And he said, no, it's out of the kindness of my heart, right? And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just receive it, and, I don't want him to give me away something that I'm not going to pay him for. I don't have any cash, and I just want him to keep it so he can make some money off it from somebody else. But he kind of just latched on, and he just cut it, and it's tied. You can't get it off unless you cut it off and ruin it, right? And so But he said it's out of the kindness of his heart. So I said, well, thank you. That's very, very kind of you, blah, blah, blah. And then I start walking off, and then he starts chasing me, and he's like, what are you going to give me? And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, just a couple of euro or something. And I was just like, what? And I was like, this is how he kept going on. And I said, oh, I thought you gave it to me out of the kindness of your heart. And then he was like, oh, well, that kind of shut him down, I guess, a little bit. And then he was like, okay, ciao, like, bye, sort of thing. And anyway, it was this whole scenario, but that's why I wanted to bring the message to you guys today around be kind, but also be cautious. I've had those instances like in the middle of shopping centers before, where those people hanging out in the middle trying to sell you like face, I don't know, like skincare ranges and stuff, and you kind of get conned in by the free thing, and then they're trying to sell you like hundreds of dollars of products and stuff. And so I've learned my lesson with that. Now when I walk past those people, I don't stop at all. I keep walking, but I just say, thank you, like, no, but thank you. I'm just kind to them. But I keep walking. I'm kind, but cautious. And, it's kind of a new experience with like people giving you bracelets and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I want to be kind, but I also want to be cautious, instead of being the kind of people who just like super rude, like I think that, like it's kind of annoying when people are kind of, antagonizing you for money and trying to be they're a bit creepy sometimes, or they're, being a bit fake and like trying to befriend you, but really they've got an ulterior motive. Like, there's people who just like get really brash with them, and they're just like, they don't give them the time of day. I don't want to be that person, but I also don't want to be the person who just gets conned into things and just goes along with it. I want to be kind, but I also want to be cautious. And I think that me talking into all of these different stories, I think that it can definitely relate to all different areas of our lives. It's not about assuming people are trying to get something from you all the time and then just walking around trying to protect yourself in life. And it's also not about getting just trampled over and just being kind to everybody and then just getting taken for a ride and doing things that you don't want to do. It's about being kind and respectful of human beings and assuming the best of them, but also being cautious and being able to say no, and also, kind of trusting your gut instinct around different scenarios. Like some sus stuff was going on for us today, and that's just in the span of today. Like we've been traveling for over a month now, and there's definitely been some funny instances. And, every single time I've been traveling, I've gotten myself into some funny instances like that. I'm stuck with this little bracelet, but I hope that me sharing and going off, I just wanted to share these stories with you guys today, but I'm definitely hoping that in some way, me sharing these stories actually gets you thinking about where in your life you are being kind of walked over and you're just being too kind and not cautious at all, and where in your life you might be overly cautious and you're kind of like cutting opportunities and connections and people off, and where you could kind of bring some balance to your life in terms of being kind but also being cautious. And this happens all the time in all of our connections as well. Think about it in terms of not being a people pleaser, but also, being that kind of person who can give people what they need rather than what they're demanding or what they're wanting. Be kind, but also be cautious. It's be kind and, give to others, but also be discerning about what's right for you. Look at these different angles and make sure that you've got balance going on. Hopefully my stories actually resonated. So let me check in with you guys. Have you got any questions, comments, any words of wisdom, any funny stories that you want to share with any of us today? I would absolutely love to hear from you. And I am going to check in with you guys now. So let me know. I've got Carlos and Huss is in the house, and Tim and Bina. It is always so wonderful to see you. And Gregory's here as well, and Judy, and thank you, Carlos, for your kind words. And Alexandria, yay, hey V, sending you a huge hug from Charles and me. Oh, I'm taking that. I need it. I need some cuddles. I'm just still recovering from, actually went and got some stuff in my throat today because I had no sleep last night. So my immune system has definitely been down, but still trying to look after my health here in Italy. But I love that. Thank you so much, my beautiful, amazing friends, Alexandria and the incredible Charles. And Karim is here as well, and Brian. Ola from Hawaii. I love your post. Thank you for being amazing. Oh, you're touching my heart, Brian. Thank you so much for being here and for lighting me up. I really appreciate that, and grateful that you're finding value in these posts. And Iqbal is here, and Kuno, and Karim, and Yusuf, and Haas. Yeah, be careful out there, B. Sex trafficking is huge all over the world. Oh, that was scary. Okay. I've one of my favorite movies is actually Taken by Liam Neeson. So, and it's freaking me out because I'm actually about to go solo traveling. Actually, I'm not just about to. I've got another 2 weeks with my family. Then I've got 12 days in silence by myself. Then I've got 3 weeks with an amazing human being who's coming over to spend some time with me here in France. And then I think it works out that over the 3 months that I was actually planning to be completely solo traveling, I think I get 3 weeks of solo traveling. But I'm really happy about it anyway, because I'm creating some amazing magic moments. So hopefully no reincarnations of the Taken movies happening here, but I appreciate that, Huss, and I will definitely be cautious. And Daryl, when I was in Mexico, I wore a wristband on my wrist. All the locals knew I was a tourist walking out of the hotel, and I don't know why my comments are still not opening on my iPad. So I'm so disappointed I can't read the rest of your message there, Daryl. But that's killing me. I hate how I can't see and I can't engage with everything that you just wrote. But yeah, I can definitely resonate with looking like a tourist. I do it all the time. I don't know. But I love that and so appreciate you sharing, Daryl. And Fazia's here, and Charlie, and Lisa, and Huss. What happened to out of the kindness of your heart? Yeah, that's exactly what I hit him with, because he was like, yeah, no. Actually, he threw this wristband, like I was taking some photos, and he kind of like, I just kind of said, oh no, thank you. He was telling me I looked like I was from Africa, and I was like, not really getting that one. But anyway, he threw the wristband, it kind of like landed on my jacket, and then he's like, oh, it's on your arm, and then I was like, oh no, here, you have it, please have it back, thank you though. And then he just like put it on my arm, and then it all started, and he was like, no, it's out of the kindness of my heart. And that's why I was like, oh, but I thought it was out of the kindness of your heart, and that like really shut him down. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. And Rim's here as well, and Karim, I do not understand what you say, I love watching. Oh, I'm disappointed that you can't understand what I say, Karim, but I'm loving that you're still here and you're still getting some value out of this message, hopefully. I don't know how, but appreciate you being here, Karim. And Alexandria, sounds like these folks need an Aussie-style throat punch. Abso-friggin-lutely. Boom, where's Dawn when you need her? Dawn, you should be here in Italy with me. Throat punching. Throat punching all the way. I love it. And Brian, good advice about being kind and cautious. Sorry to hear about your experiences not being genuine. They definitely, and I can't read the rest of your message either, Brian. So sorry about that. But yes, I love that this is resonating with you. And you know what, like, it's kind of like, it gives me stories to talk about, like when you have these funny experiences. I mean, I've had probably some more challenging ones in different times when I've been traveling. But these were just kind of a bit weird that didn't turn south, but they probably could have pretty quickly. And you know, you just got to be cautious and not assume the worst of everybody. But also, you know, just don't be too kind. Yeah, like without any caution. I love that. And Ram is here as well, and Miralyn and Sapreet. And yeah, Alexandra cracking us up with the throat punches. Huss and Abhishek and David and Charlie. Equilibration. Yeah, well, you've got to be in equilibrium, definitely in terms of that kindness and your cautiousness, absolutely. And Huss, great message, V. Do for others, but still watch out for you. Be careful out there, EV. I love it. And one of my faves too, Love Taken. Oh my gosh, my favorite actor is Liam Neeson. I just think he's just so brilliant. And that movie Taken, oh my God. It's just such a good, like, revenge movie. I don't know. I really like that one. It's one of my faves. So love that you're loving it too, Huss. And thank you, my friend. I always appreciate you looking out for me too. And Parker's here as well. And Sebastiano, great to see you. And so I'm hoping that me sharing these messages and these just funny stories with you guys today, definitely just if it helped you, I hope so, or if it gave you a bit of a laugh, or if you could just relate to different things like that. But at the end of the day, yeah, really just hoping that it gets you thinking about looking out for others, but also looking out for yourself. Being kind, but also being cautious. And having that equilibrium, having that kind of balance, that is ultimately, a state of being that you should bring into every area of your life. Be kind to others, but also be cautious and assume the best, but be prepared for the possibility of the worst, without being taken over by that. So, really hoping that this has served you, and as always, guys, I am sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, and I really hope that you're doing something empowering today or tonight wherever you are in the world, and I definitely hope that today's message has served you and supported you, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. I'll do my Facebook Live probably somewhere out and about with some beautiful scenery here in Milan, so can't wait to see you guys then. And absolutely, I can see Mia's here and Amber, and absolutely Alexandria, safety first. I love it. Sending you guys all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. You're welcome, Ulrike. Thank you. Love it.